Okay, real talk. You've started over more times than you can count. The gym started strong, gone by week 2. The YouTube channel, the journal, the online course, the side hustle, you went and fired up, and then just disappeared. And every single time, you told yourself the same thing. I just don't have the discipline. But here's what nobody's telling you. It's not about discipline. It's not about talent. It's not even about how bad you want it. The reason you keep stopping has nothing to do with who you are and everything to do with when you stop. Because here's the thing, every single skill, every habit, every goal you've ever had, there's a phase where you're putting in real work, real time, real energy, and you have nothing to show for it. Your guitar still sounds terrible. The scale hasn't moved. Your videos have 11 views, and 6 of them are you. This phase is what I call the invisible progress stage, and it is the graveyard of potential. Most people hit this wall, feel like they're failing, and quit, right before everything was about to click. Today, I'm going to give you the exact framework to push through that stage. And no, it's not just be more disciplined or think positive. This is practical, it's psychological, and it actually works. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Why motivation is a trap. Let's kill the biggest lie in self-improvement right now. Motivation. Every January, millions of people wake up motivated. They make the vision board, they buy the new shoes, they tell their friends about their goals. And then life happens. They sleep badly for 2 nights. Work gets stressful. It rains. And suddenly that fire they felt? Gone. And they're back on the couch wondering what happened to their new self. Here's the truth. Motivation is a feeling. And feelings change. They fluctuate based on your sleep, your stress, your blood sugar, whether someone cut you off in traffic that morning. If your consistency is dependent on feeling ready, your progress will always be unstable. You will always be at the mercy of a brain that, honestly, would rather stay comfortable. Think about the most consistent people you know, the ones who actually follow through. Do you think they wake up every morning absolutely pumped to do the work? No. They just do it anyway. And here's the key difference. They stop negotiating with themselves. That internal back and forth you have every morning, should I go to the gym? I'm kind of tired. Maybe I'll go tonight. Actually, I'll start fresh Monday. That negotiation is exhausting. It drains mental energy before you've even done anything. Highly consistent people don't have that debate. The decision is already made. They remove the option to quit from the table. Now let's talk about why it feels so hard. And it comes down to dopamine. Your brain runs on dopamine. It's your reward chemical. And here's the problem. Your phone, your social media, your favorite shows, they've absolutely wrecked your dopamine system. Every notification, every swipe, every autoplay video is engineered to spike your dopamine instantly, effortlessly. Your brain is getting hit with high stimulation rewards all day long. So when you sit down to do something that actually matters, studying, writing, practicing, building, it feels painful. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain has been trained to expect a dopamine hit every 30 seconds, and deep work doesn't do that. Deep work is slow, it's quiet, it's boring sometimes. The fix? You have to embrace boredom. Intentionally. Sit with the discomfort. Cut the constant stimulation. When you stop flooding your brain with cheap dopamine, your baseline resets, and suddenly, normal productive work starts to feel good again. Not Instagram good, but genuinely satisfying. You have to detox your attention before you can direct it. Chapter 2. The identity shift. Alright, here's where things get really interesting. And this might be the most important thing in this entire video, so stay with me. Most people set goals like this. I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to make money online, or I want to read more books. And that seems fine, right? Goals are good, but here's the problem. A goal is just an outcome you're wishing for. It doesn't change who you are, and your behavior will always follow your identity. Think about it. You could tell yourself every day, I want to be healthy. But if deep down you still see yourself as someone who doesn't work out, who hates mornings, who has no willpower, you will keep acting like that person. Because your brain is constantly trying to stay consistent with your self-image. So the shift you need to make is this. Stop setting goals and start building an identity. Instead of I want to work out more, you say I am someone who trains consistently. Instead of I'm trying to read more, you say I am a reader. Instead of I want to be more disciplined, you say I am someone who follows through. That sounds simple, almost too simple. But the psychological impact is massive. When your identity shifts, your decisions shift with it. A person who genuinely sees themselves as healthy doesn't have to white-knuckle their way through skipping junk food. It just feels wrong to them. It conflicts with who they are. And the same works in reverse. A person who identifies as disciplined feels uncomfortable wasting a day. Not guilty, uncomfortable. There's a difference. Here's the flip side, and this is important. Watch the labels you put on yourself. Every time you say, I'm so lazy, or I'm just not a morning person, or I'm bad with money, your brain is taking notes. It treats those statements as facts, as instructions, and then it helps you live up to them. You are quite literally programming yourself with your self-talk. So start small. Every time you complete a rep of a habit, even a tiny one, you're casting a vote for the identity you want. You worked out today? That's a vote for I'm someone who trains. You read one page? Vote. You woke up and didn't check your phone for 10 minutes? Vote. None of these feel big in the moment, but over time, the votes stack up, and your self-image starts to change. And that's when the behavior becomes automatic. Chapter 3. Systems and Environment Design. Okay, so you've stopped relying on motivation, and you're starting to shift your identity. Good. Now let's talk about the environment you're living and working in. Because this is where most people leave an enormous amount of progress on the table. Here's a principle I want you to burn into your brain. The smartest form of discipline is reducing your need for it. Willpower is a limited resource. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every time you force yourself to do something, it costs you. So instead of constantly fighting your environment, you design it to work for you. This is called friction management, and it's one of the most practical things you can start doing today. You want to work out more? Put your gym clothes out the night before, shoes, water bottle, everything. Make the barrier to starting as close to zero as possible. You want to read more? Put the book on your pillow, not on the shelf. You want to practice an instrument? Leave it out of the case, in plain sight, in a spot you walk past every day. The moment you have to go find the thing, prepare the thing, and set up the thing, your brain starts looking for an exit. Good habits need low friction. Make them easy to start. Now flip it. Bad habits need high friction. If you're doom scrolling for hours, delete the apps off your home screen. Put the junk food at the back of the cupboard, or better yet, don't buy it. If you're watching too much TV, hide the remote. Put the game controller in a different room. Make the bad habit annoying to access. You're not relying on willpower here. You're engineering your environment so that the default option is the better option. You're making good choices easy and bad choices inconvenient. And over time, this becomes your autopilot. The people you admire for their consistency? A big part of it isn't some superhuman mental strength. It's that they've built a life where the good habits are the path of least resistance. They made the choice easy before the moment arrived. So look around your space right now. What's making your good habits harder than they need to be? What's making your bad habits too convenient? Change the environment, and you change the behavior. It's that straightforward. Chapter 4. Defeating Perfectionism by Scaling Down. This one is huge, and I need you to hear it, especially if you're someone who tends to go all in and then crash. Here's what happens. You get inspired. You commit. You go from 0 to 100 overnight. 2-hour workouts, 4-hour study sessions, an entirely new morning routine, a whole new diet. And it feels amazing for about 4 days. And then you're burnt out, overwhelmed, and you've missed a day, and suddenly it all falls apart. Sound familiar? The problem is intensity without sustainability. Your brain doesn't prioritize how impressive your routine looks. It prioritizes whether it can survive long term. And a routine that only works when you're perfectly rested, perfectly motivated, on a perfect schedule. That's not a routine. That's a performance. But here's what really kills consistency: the all or nothing mindset. You miss one morning, and suddenly the whole week is ruined. You eat one bad meal, and the whole diet is over. You skip one gym session, and you've fallen off. This kind of thinking is devastating because it turns a small stumble into a full stop. So here's the strategy I want you to adopt. Scale down, don't stop. On the days when you're exhausted, when life is chaotic, when the last thing you want to do is sit down and do the work, you don't do the full version. You do the minimum viable version. Can't do an hour workout? Do 15 minutes. Can't read 30 pages? Read 2. Can't write 1,000 words? Write 1 paragraph. I know that sounds almost pointless. What's the point of 15 minutes? But here's the thing, the point isn't the 15 minutes. The point is that you showed up. You kept the streak alive. You reinforced the identity. And habits are infinitely easier to maintain than they are to restart. Every time you stop completely, you're starting from zero again. Every time you scale down instead, you're still in the game. Think of it like a flame. Some days you've got a roaring fire. Other days it's barely a flicker. But as long as the flame doesn't go out, you can always build it back up. The second it goes out, you need a whole new spark. Build your routine for your worst days, not your best. Because your best days? You'll show up no matter what. The test of your consistencies is what you do when everything's going wrong. Designed for that. Chapter 5. Making progress visible and the power of compounding. Here's the hard truth about real progress. You usually can't feel it happening. That's what makes the invisible progress stage so brutal. You're studying every day, but you don't feel smarter. You're working out, but you don't see the change in the mirror yet. You're posting content, but the numbers aren't moving. And your brain, which only trusts what it can see, starts whispering, "This isn't working." So you have to hack that. You have to make the invisible visible. Start tracking your habits. Not obsessively, just a simple calendar, a checklist, a journal, whatever works for you. Every day you show up, you mark it off. Over time, you're not just tracking the habit, you're building evidence. After 30 days of studying, you can look back and see 30 marks. After 60 workouts, you can see 60. Your brain can't feel the compound interest of consistency, but it can see a chain of check marks, and that visual proof starts to feel like momentum. This is also how you build real confidence. And I want to be clear on this. Confidence doesn't come from telling yourself you're great. It comes from evidence. Every time you make a promise to yourself and keep it, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that you're reliable. And that evidence stacks. Slowly, your self-image shifts from someone who tries to someone who follows through. And that changes everything. And then there's the compounding effect. This is the part that most people never get to because they quit too early. Improving just 1% every single day, that's it, just 1%, compounds to nearly 37 times better over the course of 1 year. 37 times, not 37%, 37 times, that's the math of consistency. Small, repeated actions don't just add up, they multiply. But you have to be patient enough to let the compounding work. And most people aren't. They want to see the results at week 2, and when they don't, they pivot or quit or start over. The people who win are the ones who understand they're planting seeds in winter. Nothing's visible yet, but underground, something is growing. You just have to keep watering it. Conclusion, so let's bring it all home. Here's the golden rule, and I want you to write this down. Consistency is not about intensity. It's about repetition. Small actions, done repeatedly over years, that will always beat a massive effort that burns out in a month. Always. Stop waiting for motivation to show up. It's not coming to save you, and even when it does, you can't trust it to stay. Stop waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect Monday, the perfect set of circumstances. There is no perfect Monday. There's only today, and whether you showed up or you didn't. Shift your identity. Stop negotiating with yourself. Design your environment so the right choices are easy. Scale down on hard days instead of stopping. Track your progress so your brain can see what your feelings can't. And then be patient enough to let the compounding do its work. You already know what you need to do. The question was never what. The question is whether you're going to keep stopping right before it gets good. So here's what I want you to think about, and drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely want to read them. What would your life look like 1 year from now if you finally became consistent? Not 2 years, not 5, just 1 year. Really think about it. 1 year of showing up even when you don't feel like it. 1 year of scaling down instead of stopping. 1 year of compounding 1% at a time. That life is available to you. The only thing standing between you and it is the decision to stop stopping. Let's go.